Welcome to the Awaken, Heal, and Thrive podcast. I'm Benjamin Bernstein, and today's episode is called Why You're Lucky That the Healing's Never Done. This episode is sponsored by my book, the #1 Amazon bestseller called Instant Divine Assistance, your complete guide to fast and easy spiritual awakening, healing, and more. Just go to Amazon and search for Instant Divine Assistance or click the link in the show notes. I publish both audio and video versions of Awaken, Heal, and Thrive, so take your pick. The video versions are on my YouTube channel called Benjamin Bernstein Podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to Awaken, Heal, and Thrive wherever you get it. And if you haven't already, be sure to click the link in the show notes for a free chance to win a full year of my Awakening Plus online membership. That's a $189 value, and I announce a new winner every month. I drop new episodes of Awaken, Heal, and Thrive twice per month around the 9th and 23rd. So let's get into our topic. Why are you lucky that the healing never ends? Well, this relates to something I like to talk about called the great onion of consciousness. Think of your higher self. Let me get my terminology down here. My belief and experience is that each of us has a higher self, the divine being that created the human part of us. And this higher self is vastly more awakened than your human self is. No comparison. A human could ever hope to contain all of the higher self in it, but you get as much as you can. So you might ask, well, what is stopping a human from already having that complete experience of the higher self now? Well, as it so happens, it's more like an onion. The higher self, this beautiful ball of light, is the core of it. And then around it is all these little layers of darkness. And each layer is an unhealed wound or trauma. Could be from this life, could be from a past life. So the idea is if you do effective healing work and you start peeling off those onion layers, then you become more illuminated. Every time you peel a layer, the light gets brighter, it shines through more wonderfully. You really can't have an effective healing that doesn't automatically give you a certain level of awakening, a deeper sense of calm, serenity, bliss, ecstasy, euphoria, an enhanced consciousness. These states are really hard to verbalize if you haven't got to them yet. And even when you have, they're hard to verbalize, but you know them when you get there. So basically, you do good healing work and you awaken, and that makes your life more wonderful and awesome in ways you can't even imagine right now. Also correlating to my premise is that awakening is infinite. Now, again, there are people who have claimed to have hit an ultimate final awakening, but my experience has been that even if I've hit an awakening that is just so incredible, so ecstatic, so far beyond anything I ever could have imagined, I then later have another awakening that goes even deeper. The classic story I like to tell about this is when I went to Peru in 2012 and did a month-long dieta where I was down there in the jungle for a month, drinking ayahuasca 10 times over that course. In the 8th ceremony, finally, I got an awakening that didn't go away overnight. It stayed. I'd had some awakenings prior to that were amazing until I went to sleep, and then I got up the next morning and it was gone. But this time it was there the next morning. The abiding awakening I'd longed for had finally arrived, and it was an ecstasy and bliss beyond anything I could have imagined. I mean, you can't even imagine the bliss if you haven't been there. I thought, wow, this is so amazing that I get all the way in because this is so off the charts compared to anything I've known. I can't imagine anything better. And it turned out I then later had another awakening and it was even more amazing. And that's happened dozens of times since. So my learning from that has been, I don't care how amazing the awakening is. I don't care how profound or divinely union you are. There's probably another one even better waiting. My premise is if it is an infinite universe, then how could there be a final awakening? There's always potentially another more awesome one behind the one you're at. The nature of these is you can't imagine them. The great non-dual teacher Adyashanti nailed it. He said, if you have an awakening and it's what you thought it was going to be, it's not a real awakening. So my premise is, unless I hit one that somehow I know is ultimate, final, and done deal, I'm going to assume there's always more awakenings available. And I would speculate that if you're listening to this, chances are pretty good you have not hit your ultimate, final, last done deal awakening yet. So knowing that the healing work is what peels the onion, it exposes more of the divine light that you are, you wake up some more. That's why it's great that the healing's never done, because that means you can keep awakening more deeply. For most people, in my experience, having done over 10,000 client sessions as a shaman, astrologer, life coach, etc., and I do a lot of experiential metaphysical tools in my sessions, I don't think I've yet met a person who has hit their final awakening. It's pretty rare if it's there at all. So that's why it's good to keep them coming. Again, from my personal experience, I've been working at Awakening for over 45 years and for about 16 years doing ayahuasca, San Pedro, mushrooms, psychedelic sacred work. And after roughly 300 ceremonies, I'm still cleaning stuff up. So you'd think, wow, I'm using one of the most powerful, effective psychoactive healing agents there is, ayahuasca. Also, again, these others occasionally. And I'm still cleaning stuff up. And maybe it's not all mine. If you get on this path of awakening and healing, at first you're kind of just motivated, I just want to clean my stuff up. After a while, you begin to realize, wow, it could be that I can't actually clear my own stuff fully until I help clear my lineage. And you can go backward and forward in time, clearing your lineage, your bloodline. And after that, let's say you cleaned all that up. Some people are here to serve even beyond that. Early in my ayahuasca experiences, ayahuasca started using me as a transmutation engine, it's giving me other people's heavy energy that they were dumping, and it would be processed and transmuted in my body and then flushed out clean. So for a long time now, I've been a transmutation engine for other people's stuff. That's kind of what shamans do. So even if you got your own personal healing work done, what about all that healing work you could potentially be doing for others? Which, by the way, for me involves no suffering. It may be an unpleasant feeling, sure, but I'm fine with it. And I just sit in my awakened state and let stuff process through, and I'm fine. It's just a beautiful service. I wouldn't call it pleasant necessarily, but usually by the time that's done, I move into a more euphoric state. You go into these beautiful reward states for doing healing for others too. So there is definitely both immediate and long-term reward for doing that. Also, having been on this intense proactive healing path for so long, the general trend is that it does get easier for two reasons. When you start your work seriously, whether you're using psychoactive agents, like I've mentioned, or whether you're doing my invocation, my healing invocation is helpful for this. I'll link to it in the show notes. In fact, I'll just mention right now, if you're on the video, you can see on your screen, I've put a little thing at the top, which is the top bar of my website as viewed from a laptop. And there's these words, instant divine assistance at the top. And if you click that, it'll take you to a little free course on my site that will teach you my 2 basic invocations for healing and awakening. And you'll get all you need to put that into action if you want. And there's an ad for my book here in the podcast as well. And that's the full deep dive. Everything I know about the invocations is in that book, if you want to learn more about that. Anyhow, whatever tool you're using, whether you're doing it solo or with the support of others, doing this shadow work, this healing work is super important. And at first it can be discouraging because for most people, the heaviest, thickest, most difficult, sludgy stuff comes up on the front end. Because of course, if you're going to clean something up, you got to take the most obvious stuff off first. And then later you'll get into the subtler healings that are more finessed. So just know that as you dive seriously into your shadow work, your psychological and emotional healing, at first it can be pretty intense, a lot of thick, sludgy stuff. And you just have to know that it's going to get easier because after the thickest stuff is gone, then the healings get more subtle and not as intensely difficult. Also, you get better at it. Whatever your tool is, whether you're using mine or someone else's, the more you do that technology of healing, you'll get better at it. And you'll learn the subtleties, and experience will help you be better at it. So it gets generally lighter and more subtle as you go, and you get better at the technology. The healing journey will get easier as you go. Now, that's not to say there won't be the occasional blip. Once in a while, you'll think you're going pretty smooth. Oh, this big thing comes up that's been buried till now, and you deal with it. But again, by then, you'll have mastered your technology well enough, hopefully, and have enough experience that you can handle whatever does come up. Plus, there is this universal law that says you're not allowed to be hit with anything that you can't handle. So whatever comes up, you do potentially have the ability to heal it. Sometimes you're being called to master some new technologies. You may have something come up, I don't know what to do with it. And it's time now to go learn another technology that will heal that, or find assistance from others who have the ability to heal it for you or in collaboration with you. If you do hit one of those really intense healing patches where a lot of really difficult stuff is coming up, do know that you will benefit ultimately from the slingshot effect, because there's a direct correlation here. The more intense the healing, the more difficult the challenge is. Once you master and heal that thing, you'll get a correlative slingshot. Like the further back you pull a slingshot, you let it go, the farther the rock flies. And therefore, if you get hit with an incredibly intense healing, even up to a dark night of the soul kind of thing, then once you do master that, you'll have a proportionally huge breakthrough into higher states of consciousness. So it's worth whatever you have to do to heal whatever's coming up. Plus, if you don't heal it, it's going to hang around. If you're going through hell, keep going. There's a lot more I could say on this, but I like to keep these solo shows fairly brief. And if you go back into my past podcast episodes, for example, there's one on the Healing Invocation early in the sequence where I started recording these that goes deep into how to do that technology. And you'll find some of the themes I've talked about touched on in some of my other episodes as well. The titles, I try to give a pretty clear idea of what each theme is about. So you can go back and explore those if you want to dive more deeply. But I hope as you explore that you ultimately do come to the same conclusion as me. We're always lucky that the healing never ends, because the healings are what catalyze the deeper awakenings, and nothing's more awesome than that. Here's an announcement. As I record this on August 9th, 2023, my book, Instant Divine Assistance, Your Complete Guide to Fast and Easy Spiritual Awakening, Healing, and More, has received 136 ratings on Amazon, and 84% are 5-star. I'm delighted to share 2 recent 5-star Amazon reviews. Certified Amazon reviewer Diana's Reviews called it a great book. She wrote, useful invocations to use daily, which only take a few minutes. Definitely a book that I will continue to use. And Mowbray titled his review, Recommended. He wrote, the Ida book is well written, easy to understand, and it works. I almost returned my copy because I didn't trust it. I thought it was a spiritual trick. I'm glad I kept reading. There's nothing in Ida that compromises your self-sovereignty. It's all you and your higher self, and it works. End quote. You can buy Instant Divine Assistance for as little as $3.99. There are 3 versions, ebook, paperback, and the new hardcover edition. It's also included with Kindle Unlimited. Click the link in the show notes or search for Instant Divine Assistance on Amazon. Be sure to buy the version that's by Benjamin Bernstein. That's the legitimate copy. Also, the events in my Awakening Plus online membership range from Bubble Bath Gentle to Shamanically Intense. They support your individual healing and awakening as well as global spiritual awakening. We also have community-focused events where members ask questions and connect with each other. Not a member yet? Join one of our free events. 2 calls are open to the public each month. Experience how Awakening Plus can accelerate your personal evolution. Hundreds of satisfied members make up our supportive online community. Would it be a good fit for you? As of August 2023, Awakening Plus members receive these exclusive benefits. At least 9 of our monthly Zoom events are members only. Some members attend lots of live events, while some don't do any. Most members prefer to experience our events when it's best for them, choosing from an archive of over 575 life-transforming experiences. Amazingly, the recorded ones are just as powerful as the live ones. We even have an easy-to-use best of guide to help you choose the event that will help you most right now. There's 3 major courses so far, with more coming. A members helping members service. You can pair up with an accountability partner if you wish. You get constant support from the Awakening Plus group energy field, and there's lots more beyond that too. Click the link in the show notes to learn more, or go to awakeningplus.com. That's awakeningplus.com. Thank you so much for being here. Once again, I'm Benjamin Bernstein, and we're wrapping up. Please leave me a 5-star rating, review, or comment wherever you're getting this episode, so others can also awaken, heal, and thrive. And be sure to click that link in the show notes for a chance to win 1 free year of my Awakening Plus online membership. Thanks again for spending this time with me. I wish you infinite blessings.